Alright, non-response video. Yeah, I'm actually not responding to something for a change. So tired. Oh, I am. Well, but this doesn't matter. Well, anyway, I think this will be a junk video because I think I'll be rather incoherent. And I really don't have an agenda except to trip on this tree. Ooh, jump! Yeah, woke me up a little. It's kind of windy too, so this might really junkify the video. I've been talking about will and want and need in different videos, and I haven't got a nice, I haven't got one I feel real comfortable with yet in terms of a way of describing this distinction between a want and a need. I think it's really important. Yeah, but I just haven't quite got the language yet. Kind of cold. I'm internally cold. Yes, I'm just not right. Yeah, but so what? Okay, not your problem again. And yeah, I really need a nap for a day or two. See if I scare myself. It's kind of scenic here. I really haven't appreciated the season at all. Yeah, I just got these pressing things, all these things I got to get done. I don't want to do them, and it's just not a good place to be. And yeah, I guess just not as functional as I need to be. I've been doing a lot of thinking too, and that's part of it. It does take work to think about all this crap. Well, sort of, kind of work. Oh yeah, whatever. Yeah, I've just been doing too many things. That's all. Too much on my mind. Yeah. No, this is not the subject of the video. I'm just putting it off. I don't even want to bother subjectifying. Oh, pileated woodpecker. Damn, I wish I had a better camera with me. Pileated woodpecker. They're huge. Goddamn size of a chicken. Man. Bonk, 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 bonk. There's a ton of them now. But that's, the kind of thing with nature. Things all die off or something happens and you don't see any for 30 years. Then all of a sudden they get healthy again or whatever, and they're all over the place. But they're just all over the place here. Really interesting birds. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Enough of that shit. I'm not talking about birds. Fuck, I'm tired. Shouldn't be talking about that either. Alright, positive mental attitude, yes. Ooh. Yeah, that's kind of picturesque. Nice little scenery. Yeah, if I don't move the camera, it'll look good, I hope. Got to compress videos for the website. Alright, now I'll get to work. So here we go. Video starting now. Beep. I really don't want to make a video. Yeah. So anyway. So yeah, want and desire is a tricky word. And need. So I would reserve need for things that are, let's see. You need to be comfortable. So if it's causing you great discomfort, I tend to say, I'd argue that, we need things that are really going to hurt you bad if you don't get them. Do harm to you if you don't get them. And then there's that want crap, which is this kind of, I think I want, I think I need. It's kind of a think. I think I need to get somewhere so I can have something. And some of those can be legitimate. Like if you're wanting, I don't know, it's hard to come up with an example, but you know what I mean, good health or something. So I'm not saying you can't have a perception of want that isn't crap, but that's where you get into this conflict between want and desire. And you get the real conflict is because of these words. We're stuck with vocabulary, and people just abuse it all over the place. You know, just even these nihilists and this, that, and all these categories that are so incomplete and so abusable by others in terms of what they mean, what things mean, selective defining, circumstantial definitions of convenience. It really make it hard to communicate any kind of rational idea whatsoever. So anyway, inside of us generates this desire mechanism. Now, I've used hunger as an example just because that one's so easy. I mean, it's right there in front of us. You know that when you're full, you're not hungry. You don't want any food. If somebody, you know, if you had to eat food, it might even be horribly obnoxious and, you know, painful and hurtful. So yeah, it's the desire thing, the wanting that, you know, makes the food mean something. It has a whole lot more value when you're hungry than when you're not hungry. So that sort of demonstrates or displays for us this idea that value of something is conditional in some circumstances to your state of being, to what's happening to you. And in other circumstances, it's about what's happening to the thing. So if something was hurting my sister, I would desire that it would stop doing that. Let me see, that's probably not the best example. I'd be hungry for it. I need it. Let me see. I mean, I just don't want to get caught up in this stupid objective, subjective crap. The point I'm trying to make here is that some values are real because there's some sort of real circumstance that's being evaluated, and it's not subject to individual hunger or individual appetite. It just is. And then there's these other hungers that are just completely a state of mind, like preferences, like we could argue that, oh, snake, yeah, too late, don't know where he went. Oh well, missed out on the snake fun. Yeah, so, you know, we could all sort of maybe agree that the functionality of watching a movie is something we can all derive some sort of comfort from or pleasure from. I argue because it distracts us from reality, takes away our worries and you know, our real life ones, and supplements them with fantasies. And fantasies are fun. You know, it's like almost entering a dream state when you're watching a movie. Oh, that's probably good for a whole video right there, because that's a pretty good description of what happens. You watch a movie, you enter a kind of a semi-consciousness where you become very internal. You become very, you're watching the movie, but at the same time you're watching the movie, you're imagining scenarios and plot twists and You're thinking about the actors even sometimes. You're doing all kinds of weird things, in terms of what your afterthoughts are, your reaction thoughts. And it has a very much the flavor of that twilight consciousness that you achieve in the dream state. And that's why we enjoy it. That's how we derive pleasure from it. So again, it's a positive event in the sense that we all like escapism, generally speaking. I'm just saying in general terms, 99% of the people understand what I'm saying here, that those little escapes are enjoyable, generally speaking. But let's understand that they're enjoyable for kind of a negative reason. They're enjoyable because our reality is weighty and heavy and even depressing. It's just kind of funny, like in that twilight state of a movie or something, you're often disconnect from the futilities of your life, and you're often enjoying superpowers, and you're kind of doing the underoos thing. You're putting on your little hero suits, and you're kind of vicariously being able to live through these characters that are able to do things you are not, or have access to a world you don't have access to, and that you enjoy that separation from your confinement, your imprisonment in your life. Another whole video right there. I mean, our life is, reality is, got such heavy, thick bars. I've made these arguments in defense of virtual reality, but it's just so amazing that people could object to the idea of eliminating the bars of reality and allowing us to live our conscious experience based on a world that doesn't have those heavy bars, a world that's not bound by any of the circumstantial trivialities of your existence. Worlds that can function very different than this world, and where you can have powers that go beyond your current abilities, where you can have, virtually anything, any attributes, any kind of functionality. So anyway, I didn't want to get on that subject, but I guess the general point, the theme here, is that desire is what's screwing up this conversation about value. Because desire, or hunger, or want, these are all words that have an obvious, compelling, driving connotation, and they basically screw the math. How you doing? You're kind of, it just seems kind of obvious that they build in a prejudice. They build in a familiar relationship with us and our life, because we are, the only way to achieve our desires as we perceive it is through this existence. And but the flaw, in the common thought is that the perpetuation somehow, it's not even that it preserves, through reproduction you preserve your desire, because it's different people playing a different game. So it's like your game isn't going to get appreciated anyway. Your painting won't continue to be respected or revered, or however you want to metaphor it. So it's really not going to work anyway. People will be driven by very different feelings and very different goals and definitions of beauty than the ones you possess. And that just sort of illustrates how, the game is just so stupid. It's just an arbitrary chase. Doesn't matter what the cheese is, as long as you have the chase desire. Anyway, I'm tired. So incredibly tired. Anyway, till next time, and such.